What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Keep It Hoop YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be looking at Damian Lillard's jump shot. I did a video on Tuesday talking about Steph Curry's jump shot from the three-point contest and trying to just talk about some of the myths around jump shooting and shooting form, some of the stuff that coaches used to teach us versus what players are doing nowadays. And I know I said I was going to do one on Jason Tatum, and I might do that at a later date, but I saw an interesting video about this shot and I wanted to break it down myself. Um, you know, Dame is someone who we've seen numerous deep three-point shots, and his form is something that does help him get a lot of momentum and power behind his shot. You know, when he does shoot it from out there, I don't want to sound like Paul George. I mean, it's not a bad shot, but a lot of times they are shots that teams would live with, especially in this case because Anthony Davis does step up. It's not bad defense, right? Like if he makes it, he makes it. It's not a shot that you're gonna beat yourself up over if you give up. But yeah, let's that out the way. We can get started. Um, the first thing I do want to point out, this has less to do about shooting, but more so just what he's doing here. He's using his left foot to go around um, Hassan Whiteside, the screener, very tightly. And what that does is you're going to see KCP is then having to, I mean, he ends up just getting caught by the screen, right? Just square, just really good screen, but also because Dame is able to use that inside foot to drive himself to go north-south and really use Hassan Whiteside shoulder to shoulder or even shoulder to hip by staying low, KCP has no way to fight through the screen. And while he's trying, this is why Anthony Davis's engagement has to come up, right? So you saw that. Another thing I wanted to point out, again, you talk about he's going to shoot this off of the bounce, right? He has the left foot, but instead of just swinging around his right foot and it having being a 1-2 step between left to right, he ends up lifting his left foot that he, used on driving around the screen. He lifts that and then comes to a hop to shoot this shot. Now, it's a little bit unorthodox because when you're taking a jump shot, whether you're practicing or you're just learning for the first time, it's a lot of 1-2 step. If you're a right-handed shooter, you learn to shoot and get the footing as a left foot, right foot order. And as you advance, you learn to shoot off of right, left, left, right, regardless of which side you're going to. But nowadays, a lot more players are shooting off of the bounce, and that's coming and arriving on 2 feet at the same time. Now, it's a little unorthodox, like I said, but if you can work on it and get used to it, it adds another way you can shoot jump shots. And if you're playing at the highest level, this is a game where players are trying to force you to go different ways constantly. You're playing against a lot of athletes. There's going to be a lot of different situations. So being able to shoot going both ways and off of any kind of footing, whether it's left, right, right, left, or off of the hop, can really help. Another thing that this does, though, is that it creates balance. And when you're, again, going left, right, or right, left, sometimes it can throw you off balance. Maybe the spacing between your 2 feet is a little off, or maybe, you're going left too strong or too fast and you're not able to get on balance. By coming on two hops or 2 feet off of the hop, you're able to stabilize yourself more. And in turn, you're then able to create more energy and strength off of your lower body, which again helps you with shooting, especially from further out, and then even more so late game situations. So that helps a lot. You're going to notice another thing that we talked about in the Steph Curry video. You see the feet, right? They're both pointed pretty sideways. We talked about how 20 years ago, coaches used to tell you to have your feet towards the basket and pointed towards the basket. And that's just not the case with a lot of these shooters anymore. Now, my thing is that I made these videos because I wanted to show people that you don't have to do that anymore. And that's not to say that having your feet pointed towards the basket is bad. It's more so I just wanted to open the floor up and showcase that you can do both. You can do either, whichever one you're comfortable with, whichever one allows you to shoot at a higher efficiency, but also helps you create momentum and help you feel more comfortable shooting from further out and increasing your range. So you can see that the feet are sideways and not pointed towards the rim. The one thing I will note that between the feet and even also the shoulders is that while they aren't pointed directly towards the rim, they are still parallel to each other. So that's the thing I do want to stress, and want you guys to keep an eye on. Even if they aren't pointed towards the rim, whether it's your shoulder to shoulder or feet to feet, elbow to elbow, those things still need to be in sync with each other. So I don't want a situation where your left foot is all the way out and then your right foot is, pointed this way. That's not good. So whatever footing you like, shoulder setting you like, I do recommend you guys to keep it or parallel, just so everything is still more in balance and in sync. And even with the feet and shoulder pointed in a certain direction away from the rim, you can see that the overall body is still pretty straight and he is on balance here. And that's a thing that Dame does really well in most of his shots, whether it's fading away, step back, contested, catch and shoot. He's on balance on a lot of his shots, and a lot of it does come from your lower body and core strength. A lot of times he gets kind of low on his jump shot, and while he's not someone that jumps high on his jump shot, he does really utilize it. I mean, you can see the knee bend here, right? Just how low he's getting on his jump shot to create that energy. And the more energy you can create from your upper body, the more your core and your upper or more energy you can create from your lower body, the more your core and upper body can just maintain balanced and focus on just going up straight and then coming down straight, right? So the key things here, keep things parallel, right? Regardless of whatever suits you, whatever is comfortable for you, but keep things parallel. Get low on your jump shot, especially coming off of a screen or off of a dribble move. You're already low on your dribble move, ideally, right? Lower man wins. So as you're coming off the screen, right? Shoulder to hip, ideally, right? Your Damian Lillard's shoulder was around the screener, Hassan Whiteside's hip. You're already low, and then off of the hop, even more so, you're able to really put an emphasis on staying low, and then he's able to explode out for the jump shot. And then lastly, what you're going to see here is, even though that the ankles or the feet, the shoulders, those things weren't pointed towards the rim, at the end of the day, it's all about the 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 elbow, the wrist, the forearm, everything on the shooting hand, that shooting arm, that is still pointed at the rim. And that's the only thing I would advise you guys. Wherever your feet are pointed, wherever your shoulders, your hips, wherever they're pointed, everything on your right side if you're righty and the left side if you're lefty, whatever side you're shooting from, that arm and that side still needs to be aimed at the rim, or I wouldn't even say needs to, but you would want it that way. And I think that's the best way of shooting, regardless of where your feet are, because that is where you're ultimately going to shoot from, right? Like I just think I said this in the Curry video, but I think where your foot are is more so comfort, and then you still have to worry about where your shooting hand and arm are pointed, because that's ultimately where the shooting comes from, right? And as long as that's pointed towards the rim, you can get that consistently, and you get that flick, and you continually you're still getting the strength and balance from your lower body. I think you can get a good shot. All right, so Dame is just another guy, as we pointed out with Steph, guys like KD, who aren't square to the basket, shoulder, feet, everything pointed at the rim kinds of guys. Feet are often slanted or tilted, and their shoulders are a little off as well. But as long as they can get somewhat of a clear look, they have their elbow, their forearm, and their wrist pointed at the rim, and then they just get a good flick. It usually goes in, and at that point, it's just repetition and muscle memory, right? So there's obviously guys in the league who still have the old school kind of shot. Like Klay Thompson is the closest thing you can find to what people and coaches in the 90s and 80s would teach you. Everything square to the basket, straight up, straight down. But, I went through this myself. I had a very different jump shot, and I played around with it and saw what was more comfortable. And I have something that's, kind of similar to these guys, foot pointed away from the rim. And really, I just focus on my shooting elbow, forearm, and wrist and shoulder pointed towards the rim. And it's worked for me, right? So I wanted to make this video to kind of just allow guys to understand that there's different ways to shoot. At the end of the day, it is comfort and reps and muscle memory that's going to make you a good shooter. I do think there are still keys that you can apply to your form that can always improve or help you become a better shooter or maximize how good of a shooter you become. But yeah, I mean, I think comfort and they're just comfort is important, and there are just different ways to shoot. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know a bit shorter. Before we end this video, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. It would mean a lot. Also follow us on our social media pages, Instagram, Twitter. Everything will be in the links in the description below. We will be back. We'll have an article probably tomorrow, maybe a video in the weekend. I'm not sure yet. Definitely we'll be back on Monday, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.